National anthem. Your Excellency, Mr. President, we have formed quorum and we are ready for business.
Chief, please call the Senate to order so that we can start.
Distinguished senators, please resume your seats. We are ready for business. We have formed quorum.
Senator Party Individual, you are disturbing the former Chief Whip. Senator Party Individual,
Senator Rado, resume your seats.
you are disturbing the former Chief Minority Leader. Distinguished colleagues, could you please look through the votes and proceedings of yesterday being Wednesday, the 8th day of July 2026, and confirm that the entries therein are the true reflections of what transpired yesterday. We begin with page 117. Page 118, page 119, page 120, page 121, 120, and page 122, the last but not the least. Senator Kakashi Ulawan, SAN, can you please move for the adoption of votes and proceedings?
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Kakashi Ulawan. I represent the good people of Borno Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, the 8th day of July be approved. I so move, sir. Thank you.
Senator Retired Colonel Augustine Akabondo, can you please second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name remains Austin Akobundo. I represent the good people of Fabia Central Senatorial District. I rise to support the motion for the adoption of the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 8 July 2026, as ably moved by distinguished Senator Kaka Shehu. I so support.
Those in favor of the motion for the adoption of the votes and proceedings of our last sitting, which was yesterday, moved by Senator Kakashi Ulawan, SAN, and seconded by Senator August Akobondo, retired colonel, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of yesterday, the 8th day of July 2026, is hereby adopted. Announcement. I wish to announce the distinguished senators that there is an ongoing exercise for retinal screening and diabetic retinopathy screening here within this complex, just outside this chamber. The objective is to promote good eye health, facilitate early detection of diabetic retinopathy and other retinal diseases to help preserve the vision that is essential for the effective discharge of our legislative responsibilities. Venue, as I said earlier, is just outside this hallowed chamber. And it's going to run, it started yesterday, and it's going to end by tomorrow, the 9th day, or it's going to end today, being Thursday, the 9th day of July 2026. Announcement by the clerk of the Senate. This announcement is from him. Distinguished colleagues, I wish to acknowledge the presence in our gallery of members of the National Association of Political Science Students of our proceedings of today, and students of Scholars' Choice International School Limited, Kurudu Orozo, Abuja. These young boys and girls and their teachers are here in our gallery to observe the proceeding of this August Senate. You are most welcome to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and wish you a good and peaceful observation of our proceedings, and whenever you are done, the Senate wishes you safely back to your school. You may wish to sit down. Welcome, you may wish to sit down. Gansauni, Niger State, all the way from Niger State, who are here in our gallery, done, wish you back safely to your school. May God bless you. You may wish to sit down. Any petition? Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the presentation and consideration of reports of Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters on the bills as listed on the order paper. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the
Senior Advocate of Nigeria. You may wish Senator Adeni Ayodele. You call that the Senate do receive and cause. I so move. Okay, Chief Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Munguno. I represent Borno Senatorial District. I hereby second the motion moved by the Chairman, Committee on Judiciary.
You may proceed to present your report.
Thank you, Mr. President.
On your mic.
Thank you, sir.
With your kind indulgence, sir, may I proceed just to the recommendations so as to save time. Paragraph 8.0, recommendation, of Nigeria 2004. On behalf of members of the Senate charged with the rigor and independence, I will also go to just the recommendations, which is at paragraph 8.0. The Senate consider and pass the bill for an act to amend the Procedure of Crime Recovery and Management Act number 16 by establishing a Procedure of Crime Recovery and Management Agency with full legal responsibility to manage the recovery, preservation, and disposal of properties reasonably suspected to have been derived from unlawful activities and for related matters, subject to the observations, findings, and amendments set out in this report. Conclusion. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of members of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters, I wish to express our profound gratitude for the confidence reposed in the committee in entrusting it with the scrutiny of this important bill. It has been both a the Senate to move that the Senate resolve the Committee of the whole to consider these two reports.
For further consideration of this report, I so second.
Those in concurrence with this motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Chairman. Me? No, Chairman Judiciary.
Let me thank the Deputy Senate President for always holding forth for us when we have any outside engagement. DSP, sir, thank you. So we look at the Legal Practitioners Act, Repeal and Re-Endowment Bill 2026. Clauses 1 to 5, those who support that clauses 1 to 5 form part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses, the ayes have it. Three, 4, 3. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 6 to 10. Those who support that this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. (21) to 25. Those who support that clauses 20 to 20. Clauses 40 to 45. 41 to 45. Those who support that 41 to 45 form part of the bill say aye. And those again, the short title is on clause 52. Those who support that this will form part of the bill say aye. And those again say nay. The ayes have it. Nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate. Rights and Legal Matters on the Proceeds of Crime Act Amendment Bill 2026 and approve as follows. Number of clauses 1 to 15 as recommended. Short title on clause 52 as recommended. Long title as recommended. Is this also a true reflection of what transpired in the committee of the whole? Leader of the Senate.
Very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the bill be now read the third time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, the same colleagues, I second the motion moved ably by the Leader of the Senate.
The same colleagues motion move and second and say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the Legal Practitioners Act Cap L11, laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Legal Practitioners Act 2026 to provide for the regulation of the legal profession in Nigeria and for related matters 2026 SB 965, third reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Act number 16, establishment a Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Agency with full legal personality to manage the recovery, preservation, and disposal of properties recovery suspected to have been delivered from unlawful activities and for related matters 2026 SB 343, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues of crime, recovery of full activities and for related matters 2026 SB 343. The chair. Let me to the and also those managing the Legal Practitioners Act will have the best interest of the nation at heart. And I will.
Mr. President, Information and National Orientation B448, consideration of the report.
Mr. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So you may move forward and submit your report for discussion. Senator Baribe. Senator Baribe. Senator Baribe.
Joint Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters, Information and National Orientation, and Media and Public Affairs on a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Out-of-Home Media Practitioners of Nigeria and for related matters. The bill, sponsored by our... Let me quickly go to the last paragraph, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, having carefully considered the provisions of the bill and the views of stakeholders, the joint highly appreciate the leadership of the Senate and support the passage.
Okay, Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate, we want to go to Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am of the whole for further consideration.
And I so second.
The Senate motion moved and seconded that we read to Committee of the Whole to further consider the report. Those in support say aye. DSP. the other announcement. I'll do it as soon as I do it. Distinguished colleagues, chartered out of Home Media Practitioners of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2026, SB 448. Clauses 1 to 5, those in support that 1 to 5 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 6 to 10, those in support that clauses 6 to 10 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 11 to 15, those who support that clauses 11 to 15 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 16 to 23, those who support that clauses 16 to 23 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Short title on clause 24. Those who support that this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Schedules 1 to 4. Those who support that this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum on page 39. Leader of the Senate who practice journalism even from their homes, because sometimes Leader of the Senate who practice journalism even from their homes, because sometimes breaking news can break the country and can also break home. So it's important that these things are not only regulated but are looked at to ensure that there is sanity. In my colleagues for their contributions, and I thank the Nigerian Senate for this bold step that they have taken today. And I pray that this will advance the cause of development in our dear country. Thank you all. Let me very quickly intervene here with a few correspondences from Mr. President. The distinguished Senate President, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, transmission of National Senior Secondary Education Commission Amendment Bill 2026 to the National Assembly for passage into law. I am pleased to transmit to the Senate for consideration the National Senior Secondary Education Commission Amendment Bill.
Pora focus, resume your seats.
I'll take that again. I am pleased to transmit to the Senate for consideration the National Senior Secondary Education Commission Amendment Bill 2026. The purpose of the bill is to strengthen the administration and governance of public senior secondary education in Nigeria. The Federal Executive Council approved the amendment of the bill at its sitting on Thursday, 30th April 2026. The Federal Ministry of Justice subsequently vetted and finalized the bill in line with drafting standards and constitutional provisions. In consequence of the above, the desire of this administration and granted its expeditious passage, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest constitution is referred to the Committee on Rules and Business to repeal the administration of criminal to the Senate for consideration. Bill is to repeal in the courts of the federal establishment of administration in Nigeria. The specific objective of the promotes efficient management of criminal justice institutions, speedy dispensation of justice, and institutional challenges that have been identified as hampering the effective administration of criminal justice in Nigeria. under the Extant Act of 2015. The challenges include delays in criminal investigations and prosecution, inefficient coordination among criminal justice institutions, innocence of the acts. The bill, as reviewed by a team of law officers, will extensively address my highest consideration and personal regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief.
They're not showing it.
Distinguished colleagues, decline of assets, Raw Materials Research and Development Council Amendment Bill. Clerk of the Senate, the President has declined as pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Amendment Bill 2026. The reasons given for the decline are here. For the Committee on Rules and Business to rework on them. So this should be done and returned to the Senate within 2 weeks. Further decline of assets, Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply Management of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2026. Again, pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I hereby convey to the Senate my decision to decline assent to the Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply Management of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2007 as presented. The reasons are all here, clause by clause. So, subject to the correction of the above issues, the bill may be suitable for retransmission and assent. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Bola Tinubu, GCFR President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of Nigeria. These two are referred back to the Senate Committee on Rules and Business to report back in 4 weeks. Just what is that? Huh?
There will be cars behind. Can enter with that car.
Jonathan?
Let's tell Uchi. The cars are here.
Distinguished colleagues, just plead with the Secretariat that whenever we have all these bills, the reports and bills should be circulated on time, particularly the reports, so that people can go through. It's not good to consider report on the same day they bring the report to the chambers. If there are typographical errors or major omissions, people will not know. So I hope the clerk of the Senate and the Secretariat will take notes. Senator Nengi and my dear colleagues, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just stepping aside to find out whether your political party is registered. Good. Okay, thank you. Senator Migi, I think you forgot that the matter is sub judice. It's in court. For both the ADC and NDC, the two matters are in court. They are all subsidies. I will don't discuss any matter that's in court. The leader of Senate, let's proceed, please.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the next order of the day is the third order of the day, which is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Police Affairs on the 2026 proposal of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Abdulhamid Malam Modori Ahmed, but he is not around. His deputy, Senator Yunus, to move the motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report of the committee. I so move.
Senator Yunus, the floor is yielded to you, Mr. President, to distinguish motions.
I remain Yunus Benton Oyo Central. I stand to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Police Affairs on the 2025 and 2026 budget proposal of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund. I so moved.
Senator Abdul Ningi, you may second.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi. May I move to second the motion ably moved by the Deputy Chairman of this committee, of the Police Committee, Senator Yunus, that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Police Affairs on the 2025 and 2026 budget proposal of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund. I so second, Mr. President.
Those in favor of the motion that this August Senate should receive and consider the report of the Committee on Police Affairs as stated in the motion moved by Senator Yunus and seconded by Senator Abdul Ningi, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Yunus, you may wish to proceed to lay the report. Sorry, after taking the vote, I forgot to hit the gavel. I've hit the gavel now, so you may present your report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I remain Yunus Biodun Akitunde, representing Oyo Central again. I stand to present the report of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs on the 2025 budget proposal of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund. Introduction. On the 17th June 2026, the Senate Committee on Police Affairs received a communication from the Office of the President of the Senate, transmitting the 2025 budget proposal of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund for legislative consideration. During the budget consideration exercise, the committee reviewed the proposed expenditure of the fund in the sum of 170,103,487,540.
Senator, you may wish to summarize because the reports have been with colleagues and the go through.
Mr. President, sir, I just want to put the Senate on notice why the 2025 budget is being presented now. Then I will go to recommendation.
All right, go ahead.
That this budget proposal under consideration, I want the Senate to note that this budget proposal under consideration was previously approved for implementation under the 2024 fiscal period. However, owing to developments arising from the proposed amendment of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund Establishment Act 2019, aimed at extending the tenure of the fund, as well as other circumstances beyond the control of the fund, implementation of the approved budget could not commence. Consequently, the budget is being represented as the 2025 budget proposal for legislative consideration and approval. Recommendation. After careful consideration of the budget proposal and the submission made by the management of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund, the committee recommends as follows: that the Senate do approve the sum of 170,103,487,540 naira 56 kobo only for the Nigerian Police Trust Fund for the 2025 fiscal year with the underneath breakdown. Conclusion. The committee wishes to express its profound appreciation to the leadership of the Senate for the confidence reposed in it to consider the 2025 budget proposal of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund. Accordingly, the committee respectfully recommends the approval of the 2025 budget proposal of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund by the Senate. Thank you.
Senator Ahmed Abdul Ningi, you have the floor.
Mr. President, let me join the chairman in also thanking the Senate and for this very unique opportunity. Mr. President of the Senate, the Trust Fund is supposed to fill in the funding gap, but for almost 2 years running, because of legal issues, the Trust Fund has not been able to spend a kobo. So if you look at the budget of 2005, amounting to over 233 billion, and 2004, amounting to over 170 billion, you are now telling the Nigerian police and the Nigerian public that here we have over 403 billion that is supposed to fill in the gap that is created by the police insufficient funding in terms of arms and ammunition, in terms of uniform, in terms of transportation, in terms of warfare. I think this is the way to go. I will encourage, as a committee, we had time to encourage Trust Fund in making sure that the National Assembly will track every kobo that is actually appropriated, in making sure that next year by this time, let's see what value this money has been able to make. it is important that Nigerians will know that this funding has been settled, the legal issue has been settled. The president has actually agreed with this appropriation, and the National Assembly had ratified it. So I call on the Nigerian Police Trust Fund to do the needful in making sure that this money is spent in accordance with the budgetary provisions I saw submit, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Ningi. With this, I don't think there's any other comment. I will therefore move to read the recommendations for your approval. The recommendation is that the Senate do approve the sum of 170 billion 103 million 487,540 naira 56 kobo only for the Nigerian Police Trust Fund for the 2025 fiscal year, with the following breakdown. The Nigerian Police Trust Fund headquarters is allocated the sum of 27 billion 289 million 294,129 naira 50 kobo only, while the Nigerian Police Force has 132 billion 452 million 648,675 naira only, which makes a total of 159 billion 741 million 942,804 naira 50 kobo only. The recurrent expenditure goes as follows: personnel costs, Nigerian Police Trust Fund, 1 billion 821 million 324,682 naira and 6 kobo only. The overhead cost goes to the sum of, that is at the Nigerian Police Trust Fund headquarters, 8 billion 540 million 220,054 naira only, making a total of 10 billion 361 million 544,736 naira and 6 kobo only. Therefore, the entire total, as stated earlier, is 170 billion 103 million 487,540 naira and 56 kobo only. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Even the chairman is not saying aye. So I take the vote again, otherwise it will fail. Those in favor of the sole recommendation of the report, very, very important. Clear your vote now. Clear your voice now, otherwise you fail. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The acting chairman.
2020.
Oh, the second one. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I wish to present the report of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs on the 2026 budget proposal of the Nigerian Police Force.
Sorry, this is for 2025.
Yes,
distinguished colleagues. Thank you. Okay.
The introduction as well taken earlier. This budget, the committee reviewed the proposed expenditure on the fund of 233 billion 963 million 594,010 naira 18 kobo for the 2026 fiscal year. The breakdown is as follows: capital expenditure, MP Nigerian Police Trust Fund headquarters for the 3 billion 783 million 391,153 naira 18 kobo. Nigeria Police Force headquarters, 179 billion 108 million 751,6 811 naira 20 kobo. Subtotal is 222 billion 892 million 142,964 naira 47 kobo. Recurrent expenditure. Personnel cost. Nigerian Police Trust Fund 1 billion 857 million 751,175 naira 70 kobo. Overhead cost for Nigerian Police Trust Fund 2026 11 billion and 71 million 451,046 naira 70 kobo. The grand total for 2026 will be 233 billion 963 million 594,010 kobo 10 naira 18 kobo. Recommendation. After careful consideration of the budget proposal and the submission made by the management of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund, the committee recommends as follows: that the Senate do approve the sum of 233 billion 963 million 594,010 naira 18 kobo for the Nigerian Police Trust Fund for the 2026 fiscal year with the underneath breakdown. Conclusion. The committee wishes to express its profound appreciation to the leadership of the Senate for the confidence reposed in it to consider the 2026 budget proposal of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund. Accordingly, the committee respectfully recommends the approval of the 2026 budget proposal of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund for the Senate. I thank you all.
Thank you very much. Any comment? Chief Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno Senatorial District. My comments are very short. I am highly impressed by the fact that more than 90% of the budget is devoted to capital expenditure, and the rest is devoted to recurrent. And I think other NDS will take a cue from that to devote chunk of their budget to capital expenditure, because it has the potential of more positively impacting on turning around the operations of the agency. So once again, they deserve a pat on the back for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hughes. You heard the Chief Whip. Sadly, we are disturbing Senator Hughes. Okay, anyway, do you want his bill to fail? His report to fail? You are not supporting him. You are distracting him. So you heard what he said. He said he should give you pat on the back for a wonderful report. Okay, that's fine. So let's go to the recommendation. That the Senate do approve the sum of 233 billion 963 billion 594,010 naira 18 kobo only for the Nigerian Police Trust Fund for the 2026 fiscal year with the following breakdown. Capital expenditure, NPTF headquarters for 3 billion 783 million 391,153 naira and 18 kobo only. Nigerian Police Force headquarters 179 billion 108 million 751,811 naira and 30 kobo only, making a total of 222 billion 892 million 142,964 naira and 47 kobo only. The current expenditure shall be for personnel costs, Nigerian Police Trust Fund headquarters 1 billion 857 million 751,175 naira and 70 kobo only. Overhead costs, NPTF 9 billion 230 billion 699 naira 870 naira only, making a subtotal for recorded expenditure to stand at 11 billion 71 million 451,046 naira and 70 kobo only. The grand total, I said earlier, will sum up to be 233 billion 963 billion 594,010 naira and 18 kobo only. Those in favor of this recommendation in respect of the 2026 budget of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, the acting chairman of the Police Affairs Committee and members of the committee for a job well done. Your report is well put together, well articulated, and the two reports spoke for themselves. That's why they received an overwhelming support for their passages. We hope that this sum of money being approved today will be utilized in a manner that will add more impetus to the Nigerian police force, and they will do more in fighting crime and dealing with the issues of insecurity we have in this country, especially kidnapping and banditry and terrorism. Thank you very much. We now move to the next item. Leader, can we now move to the next item? The acting leader.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, distinguished senators, the fourth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Ad hoc Committee on the sale of Lafarge Cement PLC and Chinese investors. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Moro Abba Patrick, the minority leader, to move the motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report of the committee.
Distinguished colleagues, I rise to move a motion that the committee report of the Ad hoc Committee on the sale of Lafarge Cement PLC be received and considered by the Senate. I so move.
Leader, minority leader, I didn't ask you to stand up and speak, but being the minority leader, I have no option but to allow you to go ahead. So you can proceed.
I stood up in line with the mood of the Senate.
Sorry, I don't want anybody to take her to court tomorrow. No, somebody second. Senator Daniel Mogoje, please second his motion.
Mr. President, Mohammed Nji Mogoje, Gombe Central. I hereby second the motion moved by the leader, by the minority leader. I so move. I say second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion by the minority leader that this Senate receive and consider the report of the Ad hoc Committee on the sale of Lafarge Cement PLC as moved by him and seconded by Senator Daniel Mogoje, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may wish to resubmit, to relay your report. Take the place. Thank you. You may proceed to present your response.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, when the report of the Senate Committee on Capital Market was received, and in the course of the consideration, divergent opinions as to whether the transactions followed due process and in line with our economic and security priorities were followed. Consequently, this ad hoc committee chaired by me was set up to ascertain the propriety or diligence with which this exercise was done. It was also to confirm if due process was followed. Mr. President, the ad hoc committee to which this referral was made, having painstakingly reviewed the entire process of the transaction and involving the sale of Lafarge Cement Company PLC to Hainan Huaxin Pan-African Investment Company PLC, and in line with the observations that we have made, do hereby recommend as follows: that the Senate do allow the transaction process concerning the sale of Lafarge Cement Company PLC to Hainan Huaxin Pan-African Investment Company PLC to say true. However, all due processes and strict compliance with all Nigerian extant laws on the subject must be followed and adhered to strictly for a hitch-free transaction and transition process. Secondly, that the Senate do urge and encourage all regulatory authorities involved in this transaction to continue to carry out their various regulatory oversight to monitor compliance in line with our extant laws and regulations. And so on this note, Mr. President, I thank the Senate for considering us worthy to carry out this assignment and hope that whatever we have found and recommended that will eventually be approved by the Senate will serve the purpose of the Nigerian people. I so thank you.
Any comment? Senator Sali Afolabi Shuaib.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Shuaib Afolabi Salisu is my name. I represent the good people of Ogun Central Senatorial District. The Senate will recollect that I was the one who moved the motion of urgent national importance to raise concern about this transaction sometimes last year. And I'm indeed very grateful to the Senate that this received the prompt attention of the distinguished senators and this ad hoc committee was set up. While the committee was conducting the assignments, and they did a very thorough job, all relevant stakeholders are invited, and I've also had the opportunity to interact with stakeholders far and wide because Lafarge is situated in my senatorial district in my state. And I'm indeed very grateful to the Senate Minority Leader and his committee for the thorough job that they have done, and particularly the recommendations that the regulatory authorities involved in this transaction to continue to carry out their respective regulatory oversight to ensure compliance at all times. We will continue to welcome international organizations to continue the operation in Ogun State that has become the industrial capital of Nigeria. I therefore have no hesitation whatsoever to support the findings of this ad hoc committee and the recommendations contained therein. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I thank you again for the attention given to this transaction and for the diligence that the committee has done in carrying out this assignment. I so support the recommendations as contained therein, Mr. President.
Senator Osita.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Sitis Naso. I represent Imo West. Mr. President, while commending the Abamoro-led committee, I'd just like to make a few comments. On the 3rd of December 2025, when the Senate Committee on Capital Market, which I chair, made their report about the sales of Lafarge PLC, there was a lot of arguments, a lot of controversies that led to the Senate agreeing to set up another committee to look into our recommendations. Mr. President, I want to inform the Senate that other committee concurred with the report of the Senate Committee on Capital Market. When they finalized their job, they saw that we did a good job and they concurred with us in line with all the recommendations that we made. So, while commending Senator Abamoro and his committee for a good job, I would also like the Senate to note, because most times when we do things, we normally rush in doing things. Because that day I was making a very valid point here, that this committee have done a thorough job to make those recommendations. But the Senate had to set up another committee to look into the matter. Today, the Committee on Capital Market is vindicated. Today, we're happy because it is the same recommendation that we made that the other committee is also making. Mr. President, while thanking them, I also want to thank myself and members of my committee because we have done a very thorough job. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
You are jumping the gun. Allow the vote to take place first, and then the commission pass. Then you can now beat your chest and be happy. But I'm jumping the gun. Now, if you those who are opposed to it will now try to kill the report. So be careful. Senator Mohammed Benjogoji.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Mohammed Benjogoji representing Gombe State. I remember when this issue came up, Mr. President, in December last year. Some of us spoke, and when we spoke, we did not even speak only on the issue of the investment owned by Nigerians. We also spoke on the behavior of the foreign investors. I have a Lafarge company in Gombe State, Ashaka Cement Company. And I remember on that day, I raised the issue, I said, even though the transaction may be correct, it may be in accordance with the rules, but the behavior of the foreign investors is very hostile to the host communities. Because before Lafarge came to Ashaka, for example, we had Blue Cycle, which was a foreign investor. And the Blue Cycle at that time encouraged the development of its own host community. There were positive results. People benefited immensely, not only in the immediate environment of Ashaka, but I think almost throughout the Northeast. Transporters, distributors, workers, laborers were all enjoying. People were making money. People were happy. But when Lafarge came, they squeezed everything. They even went to the market to find out the actual cost of cement from other brands and fix their own almost at the same level with those ones. They squeezed the transporters. They squeezed the workers, especially the local workers that were employed, workers from Gombe State and workers from other parts of Northeast. And our cry was, while maintaining their own ownership, but I believe the host communities should be encouraged. And on that day, I told this Senate that when I was a governor of Gombe State, Lafarge approached us that they want to use the coal. We have coal deposits in Gombe State, in my own local government, in my own hometown. We encourage them, but on condition that they will do this to the host community. Unfortunately, we did this towards the end of my tenure, and I left. They didn't live up to that expectation. They didn't do what they promised to do, and that's our concern. That day I raised that issue, but I was disappointed that the ad hoc committee was only concerned about the 16% ownership by Nigerians. It's not enough for Nigerians to have ownership. It is also important for the host communities to also benefit. And Lafarge did very, very poorly as far as I'm concerned, at least in Ashaka. I don't know what happened in Ogun State, but in Ashaka they did very, very badly. And our hope was that the committee will come up with some recommendations that will not commit recommendation, but I am not happy.
My name is Senator Abdul Lingi, and I do represent Bauchi Center of Bauchi State. Mr. President, issues number 1, number 3, and number 8 actually attracts my attention to these reports. Hello? They are distracting me. First, number 1, there is a misconception about the ownership of Lafarge, as the current development is basically a transfer from one foreign ownership to another, being that Lafarge itself is a foreign firm, that 16.19% stakes in the company proposed transaction. Now, why are we here? If it would have been Majisa, Nigerians,
just be brief so that we can, the model of Senate. Just go to there, just over there. Can they? Of Ashaka. And the way in which Lafarge addressed the local content and the local community, those particular issues, as sensitive as they are talking about capital transaction. The international headquarters of Lafarge. It was Lafarge that merged with the kind of merger that they did at the international level, where Lafarge operations globally were merged with the Huaxin company. That is an international transaction which was not conducted in Nigeria. Therefore, whatever Lafarge owns was transferred to the larger Chinese concern at the international level. Then the other issue of who are the other.
Well, I don't think Osita Naso West. On Senator Ningi's question, let me answer him directly. This was an offshore transaction. It's not a Nigerian transaction. Now, that company, the Lafarge, the German company, I mean, Netherlands company owns 83 company, which is a Chinese contact. And nobody tampered with it. It remains intact. And it is not within the purview to say who owns this and who did not own that. So, and that is not part of the mandate given to them.
Thank you. And I think to the Freedom of Information Act, anybody can write to the corporate, to the appropriate body to have any information that one needs to have. So let's go to the recommendation that they have spoken.
Mr. President,
well, you can bring that as an additional recommendation. Then we have a secondary again, and then it will be inputted. There's nothing wrong with that. So come with an additional recommendation. that host committees should always be taken care of. Come with that. You bring a motion. You come with my motion. It's okay. No, if I are done with that, we go to recommendation now.
I presented a report and some issues are arising from it, and it's have the right to clarify.
No, they've understood now. They are okay with the report.
We are bringing a new motion. Is it a motion to add to the committee report or what?
He said he does a wonderful job, Mr. Chairman. Recommendation 1, that the Senate do allow the transaction process concerning the sale of Lafarge Cement PLC to Hainan Huazin Pan-African Investment Company PLC to sail through. However, all the due processes and strict compliance with all Nigerian establishments say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Recommendation 2, that the Senate do urge and encourage all the regulatory authorities involved in this transaction to continue to carry out their respective regulatory oversight. The ayes have it. Now, I leave a condition.
Senate advises the management of Lafarge Nigeria Limited to undertake all the necessary corporate responsibilities to help the communities in all areas of their operations in Nigeria.
Thank you for acceding to the request of Senator Bernard Nejimogoji. Seconder, please. You may second. Senator Bino Zoriaro, second.
Emeritus. I saw second.
Those are you took your time to work to investigate what actually happened.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the Senate leader is not around to take these two bills, and I was not adequately briefed about the nitty-gritty of these two bills. I therefore urge that these two bills be stepped down to the next legislative session. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the two bills for concurrence in the absence of the substantive Senate leader should be stepped down for another legislative day. I say second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. I didn't. We take it again. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.